and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna do a bit of an ultimate book video, a bookish like reset for the month where I want to share some books that I got this month. I also need to make a TBR jar with some prompts and things to make my August TBR, and finally I thought we could do a bit in my book journal together. That's pretty much all this video is, so let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to do is make a TBR jar filled with prompts to help me pick books for monthly TBRs. So I just went ahead and wrote down all the prompts that came to my mind, as well as just some that I found on the internet or some that I had seen in other TBR videos. I just want you to know that I am rooting for you. It's okay. It's okay. I then just went ahead and cut them all up. This actually took so much longer than it looks like it did in the time-lapse video, but it's very satisfying to see it now. The stress is building up inside my heart. The clock is ticking, the time is up. The way I'm feeling, I think it's done. And then lastly, I just rolled them all up and threw them in the jar so that they were ready to be used. Pacing around my room and my dad. Crazy, crazy, I want you to know what you have against me. The city is not the place for us to be. I wanna find out. Okay, hi guys. I thought we could do a little bit of a book haul for some of the books that I've ordered so far in June. This is all from one book order from the Book Outlet. The Book Outlet is just a website that I check every so often. They often have books with blemishes or like some imperfections on the cover, but they're a really good price and their stock is always changing. So if there's a book on there that I want, or it's like part of a series that I know I'm gonna get eventually, I usually tend to just order it straight away, because I've waited in the past because I'm like not there yet in a series or whichever reason, and then the book just never came back. So if I see it in stock and it's part of a series, or it's a book that I want to read, that I know I want to read, or that I'm gonna read, I just go ahead and buy it right away. So I have a little book haul from my order that just came in. I'm gonna start, I think, with two books that are part of a series and definitely were a big motivation behind this order. So the first book is The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. I have the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox behind me here, and this is the last book that I needed to complete the trilogy. I am partway through the first book, but I am enjoying the universe of it, so I definitely intend on finishing the series. And so I saw this on the Book Outlet in a hardcover, which is the same format that I have the other books in, so I took advantage of it and purchased this one. This one doesn't really have any blemishes, like I was saying. It has a marker spot at the bottom, but other than that, it's in like perfect condition. I'm not exactly sure why Book Outlet gets the books that they do and the amount that they do. I'm not really quite sure like how their business is run, but I just know that they come in and out and they don't really come back. So anyways, The Atlas Complex is the first book in the haul. The next book that was also going to complete a series for me is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which is the second book in the duology with These Violent Delights. I haven't started reading that book, but I do have it in hardcover. I think I also saw it on the Book Outlet. Anyway, so I bought the second one. I do intend on reading these, but just like fantasy and like this sort of genre, I am looking forward to doing a bit more reading in when it becomes more fall and winter weather. So I definitely intend on reading these this year. I would love to, but just gonna wait for the summer weather to be over. However, in the meantime, I do have some summer books. I bought Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I went to the bookstore the other day because I wanted to start this little, it's not really a trilogy, but it's like the set of 3. I'm not sure if they're interconnected standalones, but the covers all match, with Every Summer After, Meet Me at the Lake, and then the third one that came out this year. Anyway, so I went, and I don't know why, sometimes I go to the bookstore and I just completely misremember everything. And anyways, I bought the second book, Meet Me at the Lake, but I wanted to read them in order that they were published, so then I bought Every Summer After. Alright, next up I bought Float by Kate Marchant. I've heard good things about this book. It's about a girl who is from Alaska, and then she has to, I think, come down to Florida for the summer, and it's just like a fun, fluffy summer romance. I heard that this was also written by an author who started this when she was a teenager on Wattpad, and then finally has gotten it traditionally published, which is so fun. And I just wanted to get a few more summer romances to get a bit more of a selection on my cart. I feel like I have a lot of fantasies on my shelf that I haven't read, and so I have a lot of options when it comes to that, but I feel like the romance, I definitely have less in terms of unread books on my TBR, so I wanted to expand that a little. So that's why I got this one and the next few books here. Alright, I don't think the next book is a summer romance, but it is just a YA romance, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I've heard such good reviews about this book. It seems so sweet, and I love the academic rivals to lovers. Everything takes place in 24 hours as they go through like a scavenger hunt on their last day of high school. I just love the setting of this so much, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next book that I got is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I don't think I really need to introduce this book. It is also just a YA romance. I feel like every single person who has read this book loves it, so I'm just really excited to read it. Okay, and the last book for this haul is Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. Earlier this month, I read Summer Romance by her, which is her new release, and loved it so much, so I wanted to read some of her other books, so I got Same Time Next Summer. So these are all the books that I got. I am so excited to read them all. I'm so happy that I found them, and yeah, I'm excited to have these as an addition to my TBR. Alright, it's the very end of the month, and I just got another book outlet parcel in the mail this morning. I normally don't do 2 in a month, but when I see continuations of a series that I'm already reading, or that like I intend to read, or I have every other book except for like 1 or 2, and I see those on the book outlet website, I find it really hard to say no. So I normally don't do 2 orders in 1 month, but there were some books that would complete series for me, so I made a little order, and I thought that we could do a little haul together. Okay, I'll start with the book that actually inspired this order and the reason that I made this order, and it is All This Twisted Glory by Tahereh Mafi. I believe this is the last book in her series of This Woven Kingdom, and Shatter Me was one of my favorite series. It was the series that really got me back into reading, and so I really wanted to read this other series by her, especially because I believe it is fantasy. I haven't started it yet, but I saw this because it was the last book, and it's also in hardcover, which is the format that I have the other 2 books in, so I decided to go ahead and pick this one up. So the next books that I bought are Anatomy and Immortality by Dana Schwartz. This is a YA duology. I believe that they have fantasy in them, but I'm not 100% sure. I saw Rachel Catherine read these, and she gave them really good reviews. I believe she gave them 4 stars and above, and I had been sort of on the fence for reading this series for a little while, so I saw them at the book outlet. I saw them both there in the same format, both hardcover, so I decided to go ahead and pick these up as well. Next, I got Love Interest by Claire Gilmore. This was really highly rated by, I think, Haley Pham, and I don't really know anything about it, but I feel like romances, there's not too much you can, obviously every romance is different, but I think that it comes down to, yeah, there's not too much you can change. Like most romances will follow that like structured plot, so I like to go into romances completely blind if I can, because I feel like if you already know the summary, then you know that you already know the plot structure. Like there's little left to, like after that it's just the writing and the way the story is told, which is still a lot. Like even if I know the plot of romances, I'll obviously still read them, but I think going in blind adds so much more to the book reading experience. The last 2 books I bought are 2 Abby Jimenez books. I have a few of hers. I have the Happy Ever After playlist, which I believe comes after this one. I'm a little confused on the reading order of it all. I'm not sure how all of the Abby Jimenez books tie in together, but from the ones that I've read so far, I love them, and I want to read all of her books, especially yours truly. I've heard amazing things about this. I haven't heard too much about Life's Too Short, but it's Abby Jimenez, so I have faith that it'll be good as well. So those are all the books that I got in the final book outlet order that I got this month. Behind me, I actually have all the books that I got in the first book outlet order this month, so I definitely went a little bit overboard, but I also read a lot this month, so I feel like on months that I read read more, I also just buy more books because I find that I can excuse it a little bit more than on months that I don't read very much. But anyways, I'm very excited to read all of these books. I think this is a really great haul. Hi guys, so last night I finished filming my July reading wrap up, and right now I just finished filming my August TBR video. So I was thinking that, well, as right now I'm just surrounded by all these piles of books, so I thought as part of the sort of book reset part of this video, we could go through them, add them to the ones that I read, add them back to my shelf, organize the bookshelf, and then also organize the TBR cart with my many purchases. So I think we're gonna go ahead and do that together. Also, before I do that, I was thinking that we could use a little bit of book journal together. I don't have too many spreads on this. This is very much like experimenting in the journal, trying different things, seeing what I like, and then I want to go full-fledged with the reading journal next year, so that's sort of my long-term plans with that. But anyways, I thought in the meantime we could go in and update just all the books that I've bought this month, the books that I've read this month, as well as my August TBR, just to keep track of it and see how well we do. So let's get into that first, just because I have all the piles of books around me, so it's gonna be easier to see like what I bought this month, what I read this month, all that stuff, and then we'll go ahead and put all the books away. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing that I do every month in my book journal is I go ahead and cross off all of the books that I've read. I keep written lists of the books on my physical TBR, as well as adding in the books that I purchased this month. So I do have a list of when they were purchased and what year. And then the next thing I do is I go into my series tracker and update that. And then lastly, I wanted to make a little August TBR spread just with all the books that were chosen for my TBR. And then I had this empty page essentially that I had intended to keep track of every book that I read in a month, just like the total amounts, and so that's what I did here. So this is what it looks like now. So these are all the lists of the physical TBRs sorted by years of the book purchased. So I just keep going in and crossing them off. And then I also have this list of softy enoughs that I wanted to finish this year, which I made quite a bit of progress in this month. Here is my series tracker. We were able to finish 2 series this month, which was really great. I can't really take it anymore. The stress is building up inside my heart. The clock is ticking, the time is up. And that's it. That's my reading journal with the August spread here already. For you to call back. Alright, so the last thing that I wanted to do in this video together is just kind of reset my bookshelves after all the filming and just putting in all the books back into my TBR cart if I purchased them, or back onto the bookshelf once I read them. And with that, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun doing all these things and filming and sharing with you. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and following along, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Cause you got me running all over the south.